my wife couldn't get her tea in the ground, and she said, "Why don't you come up with something that'll help me get the tea in the ground?" And that's where it all started. When I got home, I started working on things that would possibly work. I've made different types out of wood, out of clay, out of porcelain, out of metal, everything, trying to get something to work. And after working on it for about maybe a year, I finally come up with something that would work. And with the original mold, I come up with 4 different designs to make this mold right here. And this is where I started making everything. It was in my garage as kind of a hobby, just to have something to do. And I had something to do, so I love to play golf. I like to come out with different things, and this is something that I took to the end.
Where, when your wife says, "Okay, I need something to push my tee in the ground," where do your wheels start spinning? Of like, okay, how do I even? What does this thing look like? How does it work? Where did that all start from in your head?
Just thinking about it. It's a long trip back from Texas, and she mentioned it down there. And I did a lot of thinking coming back, and when I got back, I started trying different things that would maybe work. And I just came up with this idea. I took some tees and I drilled them out and made the original press that I made in the original mold. And there's 4 different ones here that are different shaped. You can see the different shapes of them, and that's where the production models came out, was out of this here. And then after working with our manufacturer, they put everything in perspective as far as size and everything to exact dimensions to make it look like the new VERSOTEE today.
Where did it start? What is the first version? Is it wood? Is it plastic? How do you even decide, like, okay, this is what I'm going to make it out of?
The first version is that white. There you go.
This one?
No, that white. Yeah, give me the wood ones, both wood ones. And the one next to it, that white one.
This one?
Above.
Yeah, so talk to me a little bit about, okay, what kind of material did you start with? Where does this thing start?
I started with clay, like this here. This was original clay. I actually used this one for a while, and it works. It worked good to put a tee in, push it in the ground. The version that the wife had, she had 3 notches because she didn't tee hers as deep as I did. I can't even tell you where that one's at. It's probably around here somewhere, as you can see somewhere. This one is actually made of clay, and then this was one of the original ones. This is where I had the idea. I just taking something, pushing it in the ground to help you assist to get it at different depths. And then I just took 4 tees, drilled them out carefully, put them together, and this is where the original 4 came from. And that's part of this original mold right here. I don't know if you can see that, but that's where that come from. And that's kind of where it started right at the beginning. This has been changed probably 10 times since the original clay one. The original ones were baked in the oven, so I had to go in the house and bake them to get the strength to it. You just take them and bend them and bust them. This is one of the original. I dropped this on the floor, it would probably break like a piece of glass. But that's the material that started with. And then I went to a local pottery shop and talked to them, got to be friends with them, and they designed this mold that I could make 4 of them at a time rather than 1 at a time in the original mold there, that rubber one.
So how do you figure out how to start, what you pour into this thing to make this mold and make the stuff work right?
Well, they helped me out at the pottery shop. They give me the prescription of what it takes to make different things out of plaster. And after I got the plaster idea, they got a chemical that I mixed the 4 different items, like right here, there's Task 8 and Task 15, and it's 19 milligrams of one, 25 of another. And you mix these 4 items together in the glass, you mix them together, then you take this mold when it's full, it goes inside of here, like so. This is strapped together, and once you mix this material and stir it up, you got about 25 to 30 seconds to pour it in these 5 holes. There's 5 of them here. And you pour it in there, and then in your hand, when you get to the last one, it's actually getting hot because it's starting to set up. So then you just